I would like to call the April 19th Common Council meeting to order. 59 on April 19th. I have removed my mask as we have sneeze guards to each side, and I am vaccinated. So with that, we will move to the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilwoman Konechny.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Deputy Clerk Treasurer Lehman.
Councilwoman Konechny.
Present.
Councilman Frankie.
Present.
Councilwoman Ficus.
Present.
Councilman Vincent.
Here.
Councilman Galloway.
Here.
Councilwoman Cutler. Councilwoman West.
Here.
6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. So with the overwhelming support for an exciting time for Laporte's, one of Laporte's, as I may say, very own wrestling state champion, we're going to move a proclamation for Ashton Jackson, our 106-pound state wrestling champion now. And I'll tell you what, when we talk about our community and we talk about setting high standards, high expectations, and competing with the best in our community, what better way to measure that and support than what Mr. Jackson has done in this past year's wrestling season that we as a community are so very proud of. And we think what better way to do this and to honor Ashton than to have Laporte City's very own 185-pound from 1981 wrestling state champion, also our wastewater department superintendent, Jerry Jackson, to honor Ashton. So, Jerry, come aboard.
Thank you, Mayor, for letting me do this. It's an honor. I just love to see another state champion, and Ashton Jackson won in such a convincing fashion. It was really something to see. I'll read the proclamation, and then Ashton and Coach K, if you're around. Hey, excellent. Come on up. Whereas Laporte High School slicer Ashton Jackson is the 106-pound weight class wrestling champion for the state of Indiana, and whereas sophomore slicer Ashton captured the title on Saturday, February 20th, 2021, in the state finals with an 8-2 victory over Indianapolis Cathedral's Ethan Dickey, and whereas Ashton Jackson represented the city of Laporte and the Slicer Nation with a winning attitude, a joyous spirit, and good sportsmanship, and whereas, to quote Dan Gable, gold medals aren't really made of gold. They're made of sweat, determination, and a hard alloy to find called guts. Whereas state championships represent years and years of hard work and dedication. Now I, as duly appointed representative of the mayor of the city of Laporte, hereby proclaim Tuesday, April 20th, 2021 to be Ashton Jackson State Champion Day in the city of Laporte, and urge our citizens to recognize the sacrifice and dedication shown by the young man who competed in the name of Laporte Slicers. Once a slicer, always a slicer. And it's sealed by Mayor Tom Dermody.
He's got the key to the city, which is a really cool thing, I gotta say. The city coin and a Loving the Lake Life, Living the Lake Life t-shirt. Thank you, congratulations, man, that is huge. It is far and few between individual state champions. That is awesome. Congratulations.
And we're not done yet. Now becomes the difficult part. Ashton, if I could ask you first.
support of the community. You know, they're always pushing me to be better, like in and out of the classroom, up the mats, and it's astonishing the support of Laporte County gives me. It wouldn't have been able to do it without everyone.
Well, don't worry, we're only expecting 2 more state champions for your junior and senior year. Coach Kuzviz, congratulations to you as well, because we know this wouldn't have happened without your leadership. Thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you, in most cases, most of the time I don't need a microphone, but it takes a lot of time to put in to get some results. And watching this young man grow up, you see he had something special and he showed us something early. So now we just have to go back to work and repeat and rinse and repeat again, hopefully. So, but thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Ashton, I was a basketball player, Coach Hughes was the wrestling coach when I was in school. Tell everybody what an average practice is for you, because wrestling practices are pretty intense.
Honestly, it all depends on the attitude of, you know, my teammates on practice. Some days it's, you know, just a easy grind. Other days it's a red flag. You better watch your rear end type of practice. But yeah, it's no easy task to be able to, you know, complete a full season. We lose a lot of guys throughout the season, so just being able to, you know, walk through and make it through a year with a handful of good, hard competitors is pretty astonishing.
Council comments.
Congratulations. It's awesome. Way to
Thank you.
represent.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You know, I wasn't gonna lay the first multi-time state champion onus on it, but since you've already done it, Mayor, you could be the first. That'd be awesome.
Well, we expect it, and I'm sure you will be, have 2 more great years ahead of you. With that, probably more for us than you, we'd love to take a photo with yourself, Coach, Jerry, and your parents, and the council, if you don't mind coming up here.
That'd be awesome.
Louis, right next to parents.
Okay.
Please. All the family that came to support. Bailey, Braden.
You want them all up there? You got rid of my phone. Crazy.
Oh, yeah, we want them. Family, let's go, family first. Whoever wants in.
Here. Take her here. Get them all.
Eric? Well, I've already seen your face. Well, basketball players, we don't go because wrestlers usually use us for like wrestling moves and throw us around, so.
You guys just watched us move the air around us.
Yeah.
Also, part of being a state champion wrestler means you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. And because we are over the amount that we're normally allowed here due to COVID, we're going to ask all the family to enjoy everything on the way out and don't feel pressured to stay. Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Petitions and comments of citizens. I've not received any notice for any public comment here or
Nothing on social.
live on social media. Any comments from the public? Hearing none, we will move. Standing committee reports. Councilman Frankie.
Short and sweet today. The redevelopment commission meets on Wednesday, the 28th, 5:15 here in council chambers. Thursday, the 29th, the diversity and inclusion committee meets here at 5 p.m. And the next school board meeting is May 10th at 6 p.m.
Councilwoman Ficus.
The only thing that I have to report is that Park Board will be meeting this Wednesday, April 21st, 4 p.m. at the park office.
Councilman Vincent.
Nothing to report.
Councilman Galloway.
The Mayor's Veterans Committee met Monday, April 12th. Brick dedication will be second Saturday in June, the 12th, at 2 o'clock. There will be 82 bricks this year. Let's see, we'll have elections next meeting, and the next meeting will be May 10th. Okay, Police Merit Commission, several accommodations. I believe you'll see them tonight, and Carl Jackson's done as of April 17th. That's it.
And I'd just like to add, as we talk about getting young people involved in our community and our local government, we will have an opening on our Veterans Committee. So if you are a veteran new to being involved in the community or would like to serve on a committee, we are taking applications, and you can reach out to my office at City Hall, and Annette can connect. But we do need some young, new people involved in our Veterans Committee. We think this is going to be a big year to do some things veteran-related and make sure our community stands out in our support for veterans. So we're excited to have the opportunity to put somebody new on our Veterans Committee. Councilwoman West.
The Fire Merit Commission will meet on May 5th, and nothing to report on behalf of the Plan Commission at this time.
Councilwoman Konechny.
Tree Commission. The Tree Commission last met on Thursday, April 15th. Sarah Nimitz, the city's sustainability and accessibility engineer, applied for and was awarded a $75,000 grant from the Healthcare Foundation of Laporte. These funds will be used towards the purchasing of safety equipment, tree maintenance equipment, will help offset the expense for 4 seasonal employees, and will cover the expense of a 2-day extensive training program for 4 full-time city employees, which will focus on proper tree care and maintenance, chainsaw and equipment safety, as well as best practices. This grant will better position us not only to maintain and address any needs within our current tree canopy in-house, but will also provide us with great opportunities to expand our urban canopy. A friendly reminder that the Tree Commission's annual Arbor Day tree giveaway is scheduled for Saturday, May 1st, rain or shine. This event will begin at 8 a.m. at the 18th Street entrance of Kessling Park. Species available are Sherman oak, Kentucky coffee tree, tulip tree, almond plum, and redbud. Visitors are asked to wear masks and practice social distancing. There is a limit of numbers of trees per visitor. The next Tree Commission meeting is scheduled for Thursday, May 20th at 5 p.m. in council chambers. Airport Authority. The Airport Authority met on Wednesday, the 14th via Zoom. Items discussed were as follows: progress on the master plan and runway reorientation project. The Airport Authority did receive a COVID grant offer of $13,000. Fuel sales, March 2021 is up 77% of March 2020. Also, too, very exciting, registration for the Aviation Camp is now open. There are 2 camps available this year. Number 1, it's for students entering grades 6th, 7th, or 8th, and then the other is for students entering 9th through 12th grade. There will be 2 sessions, an AM session that's from 9 a.m. till 11:30 a.m., and a PM session from 12:30 to 3 p.m. An exciting addition to the Aviation Camp this year is our new FAA certified flight simulator purchased by Howmet. It will give students the opportunity to receive hands-on instruction from pilots to gain real-world experience in flight. Each student will have time on the simulator every day at camp unless it's a field trip day. The 2021 Aviation Camp will be held most Thursdays beginning June 17th through August 5th. The last day of camp will be on Tuesday, August 10th. The cost of the camp is $50. Sign-up will be open until May 14th. You can register, or you could go online at www.laporteairport.com to download a registration form. The next meeting for the Airport Authority will be May 12th at 5:15 via Zoom. And finally, the Historic Preservation Commission was originally scheduled to meet tomorrow, April 20th. However, it has been rescheduled to next Tuesday, April 27th at 5:30 in council chambers.
And just remind everybody, we are now more than just the Maple City, so there's opportunities to receive trees free of charge and get out there into the public, into your yard, public area, wherever, correct?
So in your yard specifically, yes.
Perfect. Police Awards, Chief Breton.
For the council tonight to honor several officers and a citizen this evening. So often we hear about the police in the negative light. We got some very positive things tonight. I'm going to call up Corporal Isla to give a story about a citizen right here in Laporte named Jacob Head. Mr. Mayor, council members, pleased to announce very, very good outcome of a very bad tragedy. On February 11th, 2011, approximately 4:10 in the. I'm sorry. On Thursday, February 11th, 2021, approximately 4:10 p.m., officers, fire and EMS were dispatched to an accident at 35 and 39 North Split on Pine Lake Avenue. Dispatch advised that prior to our arrival that there was a witness on scene that had identified a medical emergency in this accident. We arrived on scene. Witnesses were doing, or the witness and the bystander was doing CPR actively when officers and fire and EMS arrived. This gentleman that witnessed and started the CPR is Mr. Jacob Hen. Let me tell you what happened with Mr. Hen. He witnessed the accident, determined that it was a medical emergency, took it upon himself to run to his vehicle after determining that the car was still locked. He ran to his vehicle, removed a jack from his vehicle, ran back to the vehicle, busted out a window, unlocked it, pulled the victim out of the car, Anthony England, and immediately performed CPR. It's blatantly obvious that without Jacob Hen taking these heroic acts, Anthony England would have passed. I'm pleased to announce Mr. England is sitting right over here.
Mr. England, would you like to say a few words?
So I got to meet Jacob just before we started tonight.
We met before that.
I don't recall it, but I have to tell you two things. One, I got a call from a work colleague who said, "How often do you get to meet your guardian angel?" And I certainly believe that is very much true. And secondly, I would say in the age of COVID, when it is just difficult to be around other people, when people shy away, for somebody to charge into the fire without even knowing who I was and start CPR. I've got two videos, one from my mom who lives in Florida, and one from my 13, 12, and 10-year-old daughters, who I'm eager to show Jacob tonight just how much it meant. I spent 6 weeks in Memorial Hospital, and it was very clear to me that without Jacob's intervention, I wouldn't have made it. They were very clear about that too. So I don't know how you say thank you to somebody who saves your life.
You're very welcome.
But thank you.
You're very welcome.
Let's hear from the man of the hour, Jacob.
Jacob, before you, I'm trying to let you off that easy. I have a copy of the nomination for award that Corporal Itis wrote to me. In fact, he texted me right after this incident. Let me know. And then here's an excellence award from the city of Laporte.
Could we read that, Chief?
City of Laporte Excellence Award awarded to Jacob Henn in appreciation for his swift and courageous actions, putting his community ahead of his personal safety with his quick actions surrounding an accident and medical emergency on February 11th, 2021. So, thank you.
I just want to say thank you, and I serve a good God. It wasn't me; he just used me as an instrument and orchestrated it. I'm more than happy to see that you're okay. That's appreciation enough. But again, thank you to City of Laporte, and hopefully we don't have to see me again like this, huh?
Comments from council?
Thank you, guys.
This is what makes Laporte special, and I'm sorry, but I know we're being cautious, but with the officers restraining. Can we take a photo here?
Absolutely.
With both of them?
Absolutely.
That will be, we've justified that.
What you people.
Yeah, I know, I just came back here. Oh, still going. Yeah.
Please.
I'm gonna call the officers up when I'm all done. I'm gonna explain everything that they were awarded last Tuesday. The Merit Commission honored these officers, and the Merit Commission like come up as well. I just want to say that there's so many things that the public doesn't know what our officers do and what they go through every day, and this is such an honor to recognize them. A week ago Sunday, officers were on a simple domestic call. This stuff doesn't make the news. As they arrive, man, two officers go up. One of those officers is here tonight. They go up to the door, they're off to the side. Man charges out with a rifle, points it at another officer. They disarm this guy with nobody being injured. That's what the men and women of this police department do for the citizens of Laporte. Nobody talks about it. Nobody knows about it. But it's here in Laporte, it's everywhere. Those stressful situations. I wish I could award all of them for what they do every day. The first award that was given out by our Merit Commission was actually 3 Commendation Awards.
On November 20th, 2020, the department responded to a welfare check at a residence. Upon investigation, the officers noticed that something was amiss. They interviewed several people who knew the resident in there, and it was unlike him to not answer the door. Nobody had been in touch with him. Well, they continued their investigation. They got in the residence, and when they got inside, the officers found the man distraught in his closet with a firearm ready to take his life. The actions of these three officers saved this man, got him the help he needed. I just think back what could have happened if they would have just called us another routine call, walked away. Those officers were Detective Sergeant Aguilar, Corporal Joe Toth, and Officer Marcos Loza. I'll call them up when I'm done here. Life-saving award was issued also on that date. On January 16, 2021, officers were dispatched to a possible overdose. Officer Jared Schaefer arrived, noticed that the subject was unresponsive, immediately started CPR. While doing the CPR, he brought the subject back to life. He never did receive a thank you from this subject, but he did save his life. His quick actions, once again, so he was issued life-saving award. Second life-saving awards that were handed out by the commission on that day. On January 8th, 2021, day shift officers were investigating a domestic complaint. The male participant in this domestic complaint suddenly collapsed. Officers immediately began life-saving measures. They went and retrieved an AED, which ironically came from Councilman Julie West Foundation. They performed life-saving work on this subject, bringing him back to life, keeping him sustained. He went in the hospital. He's with us today because of that. AED save #1, because we had him in the cars. Officers involved in that were Corporal Joe Toth and Officer Joshua Leinhardt. Commendation Award, also given on that day. On January 5th, 2021, Officer Joshua Leinhardt was called to a report of a subject making threats with a shotgun. Once again, they've been there several times, but Josh took it a step further. He went back, he did research, found out that this man was a felon. He had enough witnesses that could put him with the shotgun. Stayed after his shift several hours, saw it through to the end, got a search warrant, went in there, ultimately found the shotgun and arrested this wanted felon. Work like this, you know, that's in their blood. They do this every day. Just happy to recognize them. So I'd like to call them up. Officer Josh Leinhardt. Officer Jared Schaefer. Sergeant Victor Aguilar. Marcos Loza. Officer Joe Toth. Like to say something?
I'm good. I think Schaefer had something.
Jared?
Put me on the spot here. I don't know much either.
Now's your chance.
No, okay,
Open floor.
open floor, well,
Please come to the mic and state your name as well for the public record.
Officer Jared Schaefer, Laporte Police Department. Speaking of that domestic, just last week, you know, that was the scariest situation of my life, if I'm being honest with you, but I'm glad that we were able to diffuse it and get the man in custody safely, and no one was hurt. That was awesome results. And then with the overdose suspect, he was very ungrateful when he was brought back to life, but I'm glad that I'm glad that we were there to do that for him, and I'm hoping that he can get the help he needs, and that's what we're here for. So that's all I got.
Good job. Anyone else?
How you guys like the new cars?
Good.
Got thrown off a couple times. I'm waiting to get pulled over.
That would be Marcos.
Detective Aguilar.
I just want to say something real quick. I just want to thank the Merit Commission, the chief, and everyone involved in recognizing us. And these young officers, we have a lot of great young officers that were getting hired. I'm glad they're on my team because every day they work hard and they push me to keep pushing hard every day. So thank you for all the motivation that these young guys bring to the department, for sure. Thank you, guys.
We have an unbelievable public safety team. I'm proud that you're here, and I'm telling you, as we continue to say, compete with the best, this team will compete with the best. We've made great strides. Chief Bretton, thank you, and to the entire team, but we're proud of you.
Thanks, guys. And I'm still up here. In 1992, then Gene Samuelson pitched to the city council the idea of a reserve officer academy and getting reserve officers. Even then, they were facing the shortages we face now, and he thought this would help boost the special events through town, help officers, give them two-man cars. In 1993, they started that police academy. It was also built to be a recruiting tool. I was a member of that initial class along with the man I'm honoring tonight. We went through that, and a lot of us went on to law enforcement careers. Captain Pat Hemphill was in that initial class. Corporal Dan Reed that just retired. Sergeant Pat Seitz was in that class. We also had Doug Samuelson that retired from Michigan City recently, and Al Wolfenbarger that went to South Bend Police Department, then Las Vegas. For the next 28 years after that class, Michael Seifert has stuck with the reserve program, retiring in March of this year. I can't even describe how much dedication that takes for 28 years. So I'd like to honor him tonight, call him up here. Michael. And before I put you on the spot, make you talk, we have a couple things for you. City of Laporte Excellence Award, which I'm sure you want me to read, is presented to Mike Seifert in appreciation of 28 years of dedicated service to the City of Laporte as a reserve officer. That. And then I wanted to do a little something special for him, 28 years. So we reached out, we ordered him a badge with a wallet, says reserve police officer. We appreciate it, Michael. Appreciate everything you did for us. All right. How you gotta give this?
Yes.
Most of you know that law enforcement is vastly underappreciated. And the reason that I was here for so long is because of guys like Chief Bretton and the rest of this group. I mean, they're outstanding individuals. They're good to be around. They're inspiring. And the flip side is the city of LaPorte put a lot of time and training and money into training me. So I'll be forever grateful for that. This is an opportunity of a lifetime that I can't say thank you enough for it. That's all I've got.
Thank you for your service. It's special when we get somebody to commit to the community like you have. And I know Chief Bretton also wanted to make sure that we have a photo opportunity with you. So, and all the officers, so we recognize all of you that are making a difference in our lives. So thank you.
So you guys aren't done, you got to come up.
Including our Police Merit Commission that is here this evening.
Running out of smiles.
We should just have the meeting in front of the desk today.
Yeah. Yeah, you're good. You're good. A little taller, I can hide back here. Yeah. Nate, are you working under? You working
undercover with that long hair?
Yes, perfect. Yeah, right there. Yes. Detective Perfect.
Thank you all.
Oh, well, you got the gray going on the side, less than me though, which is kind of annoying.
Also allowed to leave after these honorary. Oh, I thought that was it.
Probably Carl.
Oh, yes.
Okay, last but not least, tried to get Carl Jackson here, who recently retired on Saturday after 30 years. Carl claimed he was throwing out the first pitch at the South Central lacrosse softball game. I think it's because I told him he had to give a speech. But I will try to get him back here next meeting or sometime, and he can run, but he can't hide. So thank you.
Thank you.
And Carl served 30 years, and his heartfelt retirement letter that you all see or have seen is amazing. It just kind of reflects the person that he is. So what an honor to have him as a part of this community and the police force over the last 30 years.
Just, Mayor, real quick, you know, one of the things I didn't realize till I became the city attorney, a lot of the police officers have other gigs outside, you know, they do construction or they do other things, and Carl's invested in this community, financially invested in this community. He's bought buildings, he's had businesses, and so even though he's retired from the police force, I don't think he's going away anytime soon.
And we like that.
Yeah.
We definitely like that. So we will move on now, second and final reading. Councilwoman Ficus.
I'm going to pull down my mask. I'm fully vaccinated. Your Honor, I move to read an ordinance for the second and final time by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ficus.
An ordinance to vacate a portion of K Street from 23rd Street to 24th Street in the city of Laporte, Indiana.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Mayor, just a comment, this has been through all the appropriate channels, traffic commission, multiple times in front of the council, a public hearing, and there's been no objection to this.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Councilwoman Konechny, second and final reading.
Your Honor, I move to read an ordinance for the second time by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Councilwoman Konechny.
An ordinance creating Fund Number 176 to create an ARP Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund to receive funding awarded to the City of LaPorte through the American Rescue Plan Act, ARP of 2021.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? This is just part of the process.
Yes, this is the first step in receiving the money from the federal government, and it's really just creating the fund. When we get the money, we have a place to put it. That's the first step.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Councilman Frankie, introduction of an ordinance.
Your Honor, I move to introduce an ordinance for the first time, read in its entirety.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilman Frankie.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 4-2021, an ordinance amending ordinance number 12-2013, setting requirements for mobile vendors of the municipal code of the City of LaPorte, Indiana. Whereas the City of LaPorte administration after due consideration as recommended to the Common Council that an amendment be made to ordinance number 4-2021, an ordinance amending ordinance number 12-2013, setting requirements for mobile vendors as enacted February 21st, 2021 of the city of Laporte, Indiana. Now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council of the city of Laporte that Section 1, under Chapter 14, Article versus Street Vendors, Section 14-142, Permit and Fees, the following language is hereby deleted under subparagraph 4. Annual permits issued to owners, operators, or for vehicles shall be valid for 1 year from the date of issue and shall be subject to a $500 annual fee payable at the time of application or renewal. Fee for weekly permits shall be $50 and shall be valid for 7 consecutive days. Fee for daily permits shall be $20 and shall be valid for 24 hours. Permits issued under these provisions shall not be transferable or assignable. And replace with the following language. Annual permits issued to owners, operators, or for vehicles shall be valid for 1 year from the date of issue and shall be subject to a $500 annual fee payable at the time of application or renewal. 6-month permits shall be subject to a $250 fee payable at the time of application or renewal. Weekly permits shall be subject to a $50 fee and shall be valid for 7 consecutive days. Permits issued under these provisions shall not be transferable or assignable. In all other regards, Ordinance 4-2021 and Ordinance 12-2013 shall be unchanged. Section 3, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval by the mayor, and publication as required by law. End of ordinance. And so this ordinance amendment was done because the gentleman who owns and operates a ice cream truck reached out and he doesn't need an annual permit, and basically it made sense to have a 6-month permit for somebody who's seasonal like him. And so it just gives everybody a fair shot if there are seasonal mobile food vendors. And I don't know if it's possible, Nick, but I think it might make sense if we can suspend the rules and just vote on it, since.
We have to have everybody approve that, but yes, you can, you have enough people here to do that, but it has to be unanimous. So you need a motion, somebody would.
I move to suspend the rules.
Before we do that, I think city planner Tom Casey is also here, worked directly with board president Frankie. Any extra thoughts with what you're trying to develop downtown and have more vendors, walkable downtown? Any other thoughts?
Sure, briefly, Mayor, we just amending it from a 1-year fee to a 6-month fee to accommodate a vendor that contacted us.
We spoke with about a summer vending program as opposed to a year-round program. So we're trying to be flexible with that vendor. We will not be prorating any other fees. So there's basically 4 options: an annual, a 6-month, a monthly, and a weekly. So we believe that we have everything covered to offer that to any mobile vendors.
And we've had a lot of discussion in the past week about removing the truck traffic off Lincoln Way, and what that does opens up, Lincoln Way opens up our downtown. Thoughts that this will help encourage other mobile trucks businesses to come downtown. If you want to share your thoughts there.
Yes, definitely. We want to have more events downtown and attract people, both the residents and people from out of town, to be active and enjoy our downtown. And this mobile vending permit will allow us to do that, and have a variety of food options for people. In addition to that, have people have an area like possibly on Monroe Street where the Stitch is, where they can buy both mobile food and food from local restaurants, and sit and eat and enjoy their food within the plaza area.
Great.
So that's the goal.
So with that,
I know my kids would never forgive me if the ice cream man come down. So I move to suspend the rules and have a second final reading of ordinance by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. So,
No, he reads it second time.
so now,
An ordinance amending ordinance number 4-2021, an ordinance amending ordinance number 12-2013, setting requirements for mobile vendors of the municipal code of the city of Laporte, Indiana.
do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Mayor, I'll add one comment that the council amended this ordinance earlier this year and significantly increased the mobile vendor fees. And there's kind of two arguments here that, and one hasn't really been brought up. These fees need to cover the costs of the city, but it's also a balance to the restaurants that pay property taxes. You really have to strike a balance, and I think that's what the council and the mayor here are trying to do as well.
Well, and I'm not sure $500 over an annual, time, a one-year time is pretty still competitive, especially when you look,
Correct,
so.
but it went from 50 to 500, so I just pointing that out, but we did have complaints, I know, from some of the restaurants that, hey, we pay property taxes, and this strikes a balance there, so I agree with you, just wanted to point that out for the record.
Do I have a motion to approve?
We already have one.
We have a motion, and we do have a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Good. Okay, so now we're on to the public hearing.
We will now move to the public hearing for annexation of Rota Farms LLC.
Go ahead and open the public hearing then.
I will go ahead and open the public hearing. We are now open. Attorney Otis.
First, Mayor, I would ask that the clerk treasurer establish that the proper public notice was made on this.
Yes, it was advertised in the Herald Dispatch on March 20th, 2021.
Thank you. The requirement specific to annexation for public hearings requires at least 20 days' notice. Almost every other notice is 10 days, but this adds makes it 20 days. So that's the first requirement. Additionally, I will note that Rota Farms attorneys who are on here tonight, Attorney Bill Nelson and Chuck Watterson, have provided the city with proof of notification to all adjacent property owners, and they have complied with the statute on that. At this point, I would open this up for public comment on the annexation of Rota Farms. Do we have any public comment on the annexation?
If you could please state your name and address.
James Davis, 1771 South US 35, Laporte, Indiana.
Go ahead, Mr. Davis.
I'd just like to know, I think it was 235 acres, 231 acres, something like that. From Boyd Boulevard, how far back does that go?
My understanding, without having the property map in front of me, I believe it goes halfway to 250 south, probably about halfway down.
Would that mean up to where Bar's green bins are right there, the big green storage thing?
I see Mr. Barr shaking his head, that sounds correct, yes.
I'm sorry, Harold? I didn't recognize you.
And Mr. Otis, if I might interrupt real quick, Mr. Otis, we do have some slides, some visuals for the TD monitor there that might help Mr. Davis get a better visual of the actual property line.
So I have slides for stream online. That's what I can set. Where Mr. Nelson can share his slides up there as well.
One second, Mr. Nelson, we'll have it up.
I think maybe Mr. Barr might have answered my question here. The property does, your green bins there? Yes.
No need then, guys, thanks.
And sure, we also want to point out, we get this question when property gets annexed. Does this mean if my property is adjacent, the city can annex that without my permission? And generally speaking, the answer is no. I mean, no, in that the city is, at least as long as I've been here, not annexed anything unless it's been agreed to by a homeowner.
Okay, my next question, I guess, by annexing this, you would have access to this property from Boyd Boulevard, is that correct?
Yes.
Would you also have access from Highway 35?
I don't believe so, no.
No.
The property goes clear up to his grain bins. Now that's a long piece of property there right along US 35.
And I just want to make sure your concern is,
No, none of his land.
Yeah, there is no access off 35.
No. To answer the mayor's question, I have two sides of my property borderline this property we're talking about right here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the DM Henry addition there.
okay.
From Boyd all the way down, there's a group of houses right there. I'm the last house in that group of houses. So two sides of my property are along this piece of property we're talking about here tonight.
But we're always open to discussing further annexation if you're interested.
Not exactly what I had in mind.
So you're one of the houses on the road, like on the east side of the highway?
That's correct. I'm the last house in that row of houses before you get into Bar's
None
farm
of your
field.
property is actually immediately adjacent to it, so.
Let's see, well, here are the houses here, huh? This section here is not included then, is that correct? Correct.
But also, Mr. Davis, I would like to tell you, as you see the state's property tax caps that protect homeowners, as well, since you're already paying property taxes into the county, as we look, and we've lost 25% of our revenue due to property tax caps that go into homeowners' pockets, which I fully support. But anything that we annex, we're looking for undeveloped property. If we were to annex developed property such as housing areas, we lose more dollars to our fund. So there's not a lot of reason for us to want to annex currently developed property with housing on it and so forth. We are looking for exactly what Mr. Barr and the city of Laporte have done and reached to an agreement based on undeveloped property.
I don't know, maybe I'm out of line here by asking this,
No,
but
please.
is there a, what's the word I want? Do you have a plan for something to go in there?
As of right now, and Mr. Cook, who is our economic development director, I'd like to go and let you respond from an economic development perspective.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, and good evening to the council. So at this point, there is nothing planned for that property. We both, the Barr family and the city, recognize that it's an advantageous piece. It's located next to a great deal of infrastructure that we have in the city already in our wastewater plant. And so that provides for opportunities in the future. But at this point, there is nothing planned for the property.
Maybe I should qualify this because about 10 or 12 years ago, I went through a similar thing with a different board, not the mayor or not the city here. But as we went in there, the third time we went in there, they assured us that this couldn't happen. The people wanted to put a hog farm in there, another piece of property that I was connected to. When we left the building over here, no way, we're not gonna have that. 6 months later, they went downstate and got, I don't know how they pulled it off, but they got it done. And they're building 8,000 hogs right next to my property.
You're probably thinking of the CAFOs, and I remember those discussions with those type of farms, so I understand. But you know, if anything, I think as Mr. Cook has said, this is it's M1, so light manufacturing, and there's too much opportunity here with potential manufacturing. We don't have a specific plan, but we think there could be in the future, but I won't promise you that business manufacturing could not be someday there of some sort. Because again, if you look in the city of Laporte, and right now we're to say a new manufacturer that we're coming in, what building are we ready to have? What area would you build in? We really only have the Thomas Rose Industrial Park. And again, the biggest misnomer here is we have an agreement. Mr. Barr was a willing participant along with the city of Laporte. And if we're going to grow, this is a great opportunity to grow.
I think you can see my understanding with the hog farm deal. I mean, once you go through something like that, it kind of opens your eyes. Let's not let that happen again if we can help it.
And I think you see that more south of where you are.
I know exactly where it is. I know exactly where it is.
Yeah, that's south. So not what we're looking for right here in the city.
Okay, I wanted to clear up a few of these points I don't suppose there's a whole lot I can do about it, but I just wanted to bring that point
I'm
out.
not sure hog farming would be appropriate in the city of Laporte.
Well,
I think you're gonna
I,
be
I,
safe.
I think I spoke with Mr. Nelson on the phone here a while back, and we were kind of kicking this around, and I said, they're not gonna build an Alice Chalmers factory behind my house, are they? Well, you guys, oh, I'm sorry. You guys all know what Alice Chalmers did here in Laporte. That was a huge plant here at one time.
It sure was, and it employed a lot of people. It also, with the cleanup led in Newport Landing, by Nick Minnick, removed 81,000 tons of contaminated material.
Yeah, I'm well aware of all that. but-
81,000 tons of contaminated material. So yes, we're very aware of what happened there.
I guess maybe my point, you wouldn't have Alice Chalmers manufacturing right next door to your house, would you?
In fact, when there was talk about the intermodal and they were talking about potentially running my house and the area down there, again, I was very supportive and trying to do for the greater good. And this happens. I understand your concern, and no offense, we're not interested in your property.
Good, well, good. I guess that's what I want to hear.
Tom Germany, the mayor speaks.
Okay, I guess that's kind of what I want to hear.
But,
All right, I guess
with
that's.
your feistiness, I have a feeling you're gonna be around a while to argue.
Thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate it.
And if you want to stick around, be willing to answer anything else.
All right, fair enough. Thank you.
Any other citizens for public comment on the Rota Farms annexation? Mr. Nelson, anything to add from your perspective? I believe we've addressed all the legal requirements for the public hearing tonight.
Yeah, I think we have. I think the public hearing is, requirements have been fulfilled with tonight. The legal requirements were met. Public's had a chance to be heard. I did speak to Mr. Davis on the phone. It was a very pleasant conversation. I enjoyed a chance to talk with him a little bit. And, obviously, we respect folks like Mr. Davis and citizens who express concerns. And it's really good when we can alleviate those concerns by being transparent. I made it clear to them that M1 is light industrial. In fact, a large portion of this parcel is already zoned M1 under the county zoning. The rest of it's ag. So it's just a portion of the property that would come under city zoning ordinances that would be changed from ag to M1. But we kind of talked through a little bit about, and I gave examples to Mr. Davis about what light industrial looks like, what type of plants, what type of companies we have in the city now that fall under M1 light industrial type of businesses. And I assured him that would not be something like an Alice Chalmers. So I know my client wants to be not only a partner with the city in this project, but wants to continue to be a good neighbor to the folks like Mr. Davis and all the other people who live out in that area. And this project, as proposed, will certainly provide Mr. Davis with his peace and quiet and enjoyment of his property along with the rest of the neighborhood. So we're pleased to move forward to the next step and have the public hearing done tonight. And if there's any other questions of the public or anyone else, I know Mr. Barr is there. I had planned to be there, but with the schedule change, my schedule shifted. But I'm hoping to be back there for the 2 weeks from tonight for the next stage.
Mr. Cook, do you have anything to add from economic development?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. I just, I mentioned at our last meeting that through this process, being able to work with the Barr family and with Bill and his team, it's been a very easy process to follow. We appreciate the effort that's been put into making this go as smoothly as possible, and to all the different notifications and meetings that occur in order to make this project a reality. From an economic development standpoint, we're extremely supportive of this annexation. I've talked at length with the mayor and many of the council people, both individually and as groups, about the need for the city of Laporte to continue to grow in order to become the type of community that we want to be in the future. I hear 30,000 by 2030 often out of the mayor's mouth, and this is part of what has to occur in order to experience that growth. And so would strongly urge the council to continue to move this forward, and we'll look forward to finally being able to annex the property and grow our community.
With that, any last public comment?
Just real quick, Mayor, before the next council meeting, this will be reviewed by the Planning Commission. This is not a rezoning. When a parcel is annexed into the city, it is an establishment of zoning. So all that the planning commission does is review to confirm that the zoning of this property meets with the overall comprehensive plan of the city. And so the planning commission will do that between now and the next council meeting. Generally speaking, much of the land in that area is already M1, so we anticipate that the planning commission will give their thumbs up. So with that, we will go ahead and close the public hearing for the annexation of Rota Farms LLC.
And I would also again thank Mr. Barr and Rota Farms for their partnership in this. We're excited, so thank you. Now we will move Attorney Otis and Mr. Cook, if he has any additional comments, to the introduction of a resolution approving fiscal plan for annexation of Rota Farms LLC.
If I could request that the President Pro Tem Frankie, if he could read the resolution. Sure.
Aye.
Councilman Frankie.
A resolution adopting a definitive policy and written fiscal plan. Whereas Indiana Code, Section 36-4-3.3-1D requires that a municipality develop a written fiscal plan and establish a definitive policy by resolution that meets the requirements set forth in Indiana Code, Section 34-4-13-3 for an area proposed to be annexed. And whereas the city of Laporte, Indiana has prepared a fiscal plan for an area to be annexed as a result of a voluntary petition submitted by the owners of the territory, also known as the Annexation Territory. And whereas the written fiscal plan complies with the requirements of Indiana law regarding the provision of capital and non-capital services to the Annexation Territory and should be adopted by the city. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Laporte, Indiana, as follows. The written fiscal plan attached hereto and incorporated as Exhibit A is hereby adopted for the annexation territory and the proposed annexation as set forth in Ordinance for Annexation for Rota Farms. End of resolution.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Attorney Otis.
Thank you. Council, I provided you over the weekend with the annexation fiscal plan prepared by the Baker Tilly accounting firm. This fiscal plan is, again, as Councilman Frankie indicated, is required by statute and identifies all of the, I guess, potential costs that the city may have in annexing the property. Much of the anticipated costs are too remote, or because we don't know exactly how it's going to be developed, difficult to predict exactly what costs will be, if there will be any roads that the city will put in, that type of thing. But also, it's required to look at costs of adding fire protection, police protection, and so that's what this fiscal plan is. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them to the best of my ability tonight.
Mr. Cook, anything to add?
No, I don't have anything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Further discussion by the council? Hearing none, I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Mr. Nelson, thank you for coming from your southern office tonight.
Yes. And we don't mean lacrosse.
Happy to join you all. I'll see you up north in a couple. Thank you for everyone for tonight.
I'm not sure if we see an ocean behind them or something, but
Yeah.
enjoy.
Yeah. There's nothing there. Everyone have a good evening.
Other business.
Mayor, we did have one commenter that I didn't have a chance to address earlier, asking about the COVID-19 emergency around here, and whether the city would be doing anything about it, but based off of some of the communications you've had with the county, if you wanted to address that.
Sure, I mean, we hear numbers that the orange could be turning to red. think you're gonna see from a city hall perspective, continuing to keep, with your approval, keep the city hall closed through the month of May. While this works itself through, one thing we found due to our treasurer Parthune, idea about having a drive-through and a drop-off has been amazing. So anybody that needs to do business in City Hall is capable of doing that right now. And, you know, we're highly encouraging, as the council's aware, to have people be vaccinated who are able, who want that. And we encourage, whether you live in the county, the city, we have relationships, and I want to give thanks to Laporte County. They have done a marvelous job with their vaccination program, and we have vaccines available throughout the city of Laporte. If people aren't sure about how to register, we have access because we're always asked, do you have some arms? And, you know, people that need a vaccine, want a vaccine, call us at 362-0151 here at City Hall. Private message me. We are lining up arms whenever we can, because truly, in my belief, the only way we're through this is to have people vaccinated for the future. And I think we've done a great job, our entire team, our department heads. It's not easy, and we're far from perfect, but we've really tried to set a standard here with wearing masks. We all have our personal beliefs of that. It's not political in my mind. I don't like wearing them any more than anybody else, but we have enough elderly there ill. I don't want to be responsible for making somebody else sick. And did we have pictures here close to each other where we were all wearing masks? Yes. It's a special time, and I felt we can't give up everything during this difficult time. I think we've been responsible, and I just would encourage anybody that needs help finding a vaccine, please contact us. We will connect you to that situation. Does anybody else like to respond regarding COVID, concerns, thoughts, likes the direction, make sure that City Hall continues on its path for the month of May?
I think it's great. I think the drive-through helps a lot because in my, profession, we deal with the city engineer a lot. There's a lot of stuff I can do through the drive-through with Jamie and Nick that way too. So I think that's amazing. So I'm all for keeping the city hall safe, closed for another month, and let's get through this. Let's get vaccinated.
Mayor, I'll just comment, I was on that call with, at least one of the calls with you and County Health Department in Michigan City and other county officials. We are seeing an uptick in positivity, but what we have not had a death in over a month in Laporte County. 90% of the deaths are 60 and over. So again, encouraging people in that age range to get the vaccine, but the positive cases are people in my age group. I've got friends and people I know that for some reason they're a little hesitant to get it, but there's, people that are, 40 and under, and they're ended up in the hospital. So we got to encourage that. But I also want to give a shout out to Annette Leffler, who's in the back. Mayor gets a lot of credit, but Annette every day is calling people nonstop to get vaccines. When the mayor gets called, she's the person doing it. So literally saving lives by getting shots in arms. And so thank all of you, because you've all reached out to people too.
Well, Mr. Otis stole my thunder because I was going to thank FEMA and the state of Indiana for bringing Dr. Box at the State Department of Health for bringing our first drive-through clinic available, vaccine clinic, and none of that would have happened without the glue, our chief of staff, Annette Leffler. And I know, please step forward. It's hiding in the back there, but Annette made sure everything moved so smoothly. I think it's fair to say how happy the state was with our process and the commitment of Annette, making sure they had everything that they needed. And so, by the way, thank you publicly.
Question regarding even City Hall closed, will the meetings still be public?
They will be. We want to keep things as is right now. We'd sure love to fill the room, but I think responsibility-wise, we'll keep it to I think we're at 21 and under amount of people here. And as well, we're not the clinic. We tried because we are the only county in the state, at least as of last week, that was orange. We asked the state if they would continue, FEMA, if they would continue hosting the drive-up window, because the key is we have people that whether they have identification or not, you could drive up with your name, date of birth. You did not need to provide identification, but this is only the beginning. We are not done yet. Our goal is to get into our partners that are manufacturers and somehow get vaccines on site at the manufacturing locations next. And then as well, hopefully at apartment complexes where they have a number of people that we can hopefully vaccinate on site. And that's all besides the county. HealthLink has been fantastic. Walgreens has been wonderful. West Side, East Side, day and night calling where they can fill an arm. And again, not trying to be political, just trying to make sure people have the opportunity to be vaccinated. And private message me, private message the council. If you have family members, if you know of people that just need kind of a little push how to get there, we can be that team that will help you, so. Any other?
Transportation too, right? Transport?
We did, yes, we have transports, and we actually are providing some rides of transportation when we expect the federal government or Johnson & Johnson will have an update on their current situation where they had, I think, 7 people out of 7 million have an issue. But I believe you're going to hear an announcement some point this week that hopefully will update if the Johnson & Johnson will move forward and when.
I'm still here.
And Tim's had it. Yes, so I mean, I think the entire team, from a veteran's perspective, Roger, you've been a big proponent.
Yeah, VFW is recommending get your shots, protect this old people.
Had one of them.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
That's great, and it's hard to argue with the veteran community and all that they do. Everybody wants to get back to normal. Our goal, my goal is I want to see a 4th of July parade. We will have a 4th of July parade, and I think all of you have supported that, and we're excited, so everybody do their part. This is our shot, as they say, and I would go, it shouldn't be said without Maria Fruit, the Healthcare Foundation of Laporte. What an amazing partner in leading in this. Ashley Dickinson from Laporte Hospital or Northwest Health, just everybody, how everyone works together to make Laporte a healthier place. So. Any other comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? We are adjourned. Everybody have a great, safe evening.